Up on OU Nightly, Governor Stitt tells the university to clean it up. What he's talking about and why. Plus, could all those signatures be invalid? The latest saga in the campaign against Norman's new arena. And Norman City Council explores new options for a homeless shelter. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Chloe Royo.
And I'm Kennedy Patterson. We begin tonight with Governor Kevin Stitt criticizing an education class here at OU. OU Nightly's Kaylee Jo Hummel is live from the South Oval with more on what he's saying and how the university is responding.
Yeah, Kennedy, Governor Kevin Stitt signed an executive order last year defunding diversity, equity, and inclusion offices in state agencies. Public colleges like here at OU were primary targets of that executive order. Now, Stitt is calling out the university again, demanding change.
This is just like a necessity if you want to be a good teacher.
One class in particular at OU under fire by Governor Stitt. In response to a post from conservative organization Heritage Action, the governor said on X, "It's time to clean this up." The original post claiming OU is requiring students to take a DEI-centered class around white privilege and the needs of minority students over white students. In a statement sent to OU Nightly from the university, the course, Schools and American Culture, is described as being designed for professional educators and teacher candidates, and constructed to prepare educators for the public school classroom. Students in the class believe it's being misrepresented.
We're not saying that one community deserves more than others. It's that these groups have been underrepresented. They haven't been given the resources that they need to succeed.
Anna Escovedo urges the governor to go and spend time in the schools.
Whenever we have other movements in Oklahoma to put Bibles in schools and not free lunches, I just can't believe that if he saw the students and he saw the situations that they were in, that he would feel the same way.
Now, I reached out to the governor's office, but I have yet to hear back. Reporting live from the South Oval, Kaylee Jo Hummel, OU Nightly.
Well, thanks, Kaylee Jo. Now, new information about the fight over a new arena for the city of Norman. Tonight, we know there's a legal challenge over the 10,000 signatures that would force a public vote on the matter. OU Nightly's Abigail Franklin is live in the studio with details.
Chloe, there are 4 names on this legal document, and all 4 are Norman City leaders. The legal brief is 119 pages long, and in my hand is not even half of it. It claims that the petition that almost 11,000 people signed doesn't meet legal requirements, and that a significant number of those signatures are no good. If we look back at the timeline, the lawsuit comes just 12 days after Norman City Council certified those 10,689 signatures back on November 6th. The petitioners are asking for the Cleveland County Court to strike down the petition and take this item off the ballot for February. We've reached out to those named in the lawsuit, as well as those a part of the Oklahomans for Responsible Economic Development, the group that originally gathered the signatures, and we have not heard back from anyone. This is a developing story, and we will be following this in our newsroom as the days continue. Live in studio, Abigail Franklin, OU Nightly.
Well, thanks, Abby. More Norman news tonight. The city's homeless shelter may not be in operation much longer if the mayor has his way. OU Nightly's Willie Gillespie joins us live from the newsroom with why.
Kennedy, Mayor Heikkila is running for re-election, and his campaign issued a statement about the homeless shelter at Gray Street and James Gardner Avenue, known as a Friend's House, is currently operated by Food and Shelter. Due to contract disputes with the city, Food and Shelter says it will be backing out from operating a Friend's House. And the mayor says he wants to see it shut down indefinitely starting on March 31st of next year. Last night, the Norman City Council discussed a possible new operator for the shelter, City Care, a company based out of Oklahoma City, according to their website. City Care currently operates services in Oklahoma City. The organization offers case management, housing navigation, and a safe and calm environment for anyone to sleep every day of the year. The mayor's statement says government needs to get out of the homeless shelter business, and tonight we know the city council will vote on a contract next week. We'll keep you updated on how that turns out in the newsroom. Willie Gillespie, OU Nightly.
Well, thanks for the update, Willie. Now, after this month being named the second wettest November in Oklahoma City since 1890, the colder weather is now here, but won't last long.
OU Nightly meteorologist Carlin McCreary is in the studio with a look at those temperatures and more on this new weather pattern.
Yeah, ladies, right now what we're seeing is comfortable fall temperatures. This is usually what we do see this time of year. Temperatures right now across the metro sitting in the mid to upper 50s. A few areas a little bit cooler than that across the state. And those temperatures are going to continue over the next few days, especially into parts of the weekend. But as for November, what we've seen so far, we've seen a lot of above average temperatures, and that's only going to change, especially into the rest of the month. So coming up in just a little bit, I'll talk more about your upcoming forecast and more. Kennedy, Chloe.
Well, thank you, Carlin. And in the high-profile murder trial of Georgia student Laken Riley, a judge hands down a sentence. Julia Roberts has the rest of that case in today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
Chloe, today in court, a judge sentenced Jose Ibarra to life in prison for the murder of 22-year-old Laken Riley. Prosecutors say Ibarra attacked Riley during her morning jog on the University of Georgia campus in February. Ibarra was found guilty on all 10 of his charges and will not be eligible for parole. President-elect Donald Trump selects former Attorney General Matt Whitaker to his cabinet. If confirmed, Whitaker would serve as U.S. ambassador to NATO. He previously served during former President Trump's first term as acting Attorney General. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin says the White House is expected to announce additional security assistance funding for Ukraine, worth up to $275 million. During a conference in Laos, Secretary Lloyd said the funding would help meet critical battlefield needs in Ukraine's war against Russia, including rocket system and artillery. And SpaceX launches its 6th test flight, but this time without the mechanical arms catching the booster. SpaceX plans to land American astronauts on the moon as soon as 2026. Back to you, lovely ladies at the desk.
Well, thanks so much, Julia. Now, the Northwest and Canada are struck by a weather phenomenon that scientists are calling a once-in-a-decade event.
What can be expected in the next few days?
Plus, a club on campus announces an exciting opportunity for rock enthusiasts, and we're not talking about rock and roll music.
How you can get involved when we return.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, Collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Storm is impacting the Pacific Northwest, killing at least 2. Also, millions of bees are killed in a California wildfire. Colson Pocock has the details in Earth Report.
A weather phenomenon called a bomb cyclone hit parts of the Pacific Northwest in Canada, killing at least 2 people. Those deaths come after high winds from the cyclone ripped down several trees in the area. Wind speeds reached over 75 miles per hour. The storm isn't over. Rainfall is expected to cause major flooding throughout the rest of the week. Smog is covering the city of New Delhi, India, after air pollution levels hit 50 times the safe limit. Indian authorities have ordered schools to close, construction to stop, and are banning non-essential trucks and diesel vehicles. Officials are warning young children and the elderly to avoid spending time outside. The mountain fire near Los Angeles destroys a man's bee service business, killing up to 1 million bees. That bee farmer says he lost 150 colonies of bees that service over a dozen growers in the area. Officials say the loss is expected to impact the state's agricultural industry, which is worth about $2 billion. And still using your AC, early data from the National Weather Service shows the average temperature for this year was over 7 degrees above average, on pace to be the warmest fall on U.S. record. Kennedy, Chloe.
Thanks, Colson. A rocking good time over at Starkey's Energy Center today. The Pick and Hammer Club hosted its annual Rock and Mineral Sale today. The club uses the earned money to be able to go on camping or hiking trips and different outreach events.
We want everyone just to be able to essentially take a break from your studies for a little bit and just have a good time. Watch a movie with us, have a game night with us, go look at some cool rocks with us. There's nothing stopping anyone from being able to do that.
If you want to get involved in the club or just wait for the next sale, you can visit the Pick and Hammer Club Instagram, Discord, or on OU Engage.
And still ahead, Oklahoma communities are still recovering from this month's tornado.
How responders are working to bring comfort to those affected.
And fall temperatures now. I'll talk what we can expect into the weekend for the Bama game against OU, and I'll have more coming up. Weather's next.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, if your shower can fill a 1-gallon bucket in less than 20 seconds, replace the shower head with a water-efficient one. They are cheap, easy to install, and can save you up to 750 gallons a month. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Welcome back to OU Nightly. Thanks for joining us today. We've had a beautiful fall day outside. The sun is starting to set. Temperatures right now in Norman sitting at 55 degrees, a little bit of a wind, but once again, just a picture perfect fall day that we usually see this time of year. And temperatures are right around average as well, sitting in the mid to low 50s across the state, 54 in Oklahoma City, 54 in Enid as well. So continuing over the next few days, we're going to keep that trend around with temperatures sitting in the mid to upper 50s as well as even the 60s in the coming days. So tomorrow, planning out your day, sunshine's going to stick around into the afternoon hours. By the time we reach 4 p.m., 56 degrees. Then we're going to cool down a little bit as the sun does start to set. So kind of planning out the rest of your week, we're going to have some cooler nights and some average temperatures for what we usually see. That's what we're looking ahead on by Saturday. By the game, if you have any outdoor plans before the game, it's going to stay on the warmer side. But what we're watching is by the time Sunday hits, that's going to be our warmest day of the week ahead of a cold front that's going to start to move through into the later parts of this weekend. So that's what we're tracking next, that chance for a little bit of a cool down, especially continuing into the rest of the week. So forecasting those highs out for you by Friday, 58 degrees. Sunday, once again, our warmest day of the week, 71, and then into Monday, we're going to dip back down into 60 degrees. And something that's also going to change is the lows. So for Friday, that's going to be our coolest low that we have for the next few days. That's our chance to get near freezing. We may not get towards that value, but we could get close to it. By Sunday, 55 degrees. Monday, 47. So if you're heading out to the game on Saturday against Alabama, don't forget a jacket. I know I'm going to be sure to remember one because it's going to be a little bit chillier as that sun does start to set since it is a night game. So 59 by kickoff and 59 again by halftime. So once again, just don't forget the jackets because it's going to be a little bit on the cooler side, especially with those lows over the coming days. But once again, Sunday is your day to be outside. I feel like this is a relief because we've seen so much rain. We even saw severe weather last week. So it's definitely kind of like a different trend than what we have been seeing, especially with the temperatures because, you know, we've been on the warmer side and we're finally getting the cooler fall-like temperatures.
Finally, it's about time. It's also about time for some calmer weather. I know a lot of folks are thank goodness for this calmer weather.
Yeah, the sunshine's back and, you know, last week was just a lot. We kind of had a lot of weather thrown at us last week, especially with the severe storms. So it's kind of a little bit of a break for us this week to see sunshine across the board.
Very much indeed. Well, thank you so much, Carlin. And speaking of all of those storms, the Choctaw Police Department is hoping to bring comfort to tornado victims. OU Nightly's Spencer Plato has more on how the department is reuniting lost photos to their owners.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words.
This is my grandfather's, Reverend Roy Edwards, and there was his pictures. He was a pastor of St. John Baptist Church and later on St. Jude.
Renato Edwards is searching for memories lost from the November 3rd tornado.
And I just now found that. A couple of photographs missing, but that's the one I was looking for.
Emergency responders first on the scene that night are now trying to bring peace to tornado victims by returning photos taken by the wind.
Pictures were turned in to us by a resident of the same edition, Railhead Edition, which was hit by a tornado. We posted them on Facebook, and within hours, a gentleman had said, "Those are my pictures."
Just from walking around, I found a photo of a basketball player. And while the Choctaw Police Department is reuniting those photos with its owner, some tornado victims are not as fortunate and hope their memories will turn up somewhere.
They may not have thought about what, little memories they've lost as far as pictures, but it gave us a good feeling to be able to return them.
As for Edwards, he says he's missing 10 to 15 photos that were hanging on the wall of his home.
It's family portraits missing, and I think it's got a couple of pictures when the kids was younger.
The department hopes their work will help tornado victims turn the page with comfort.
Thinking you're going to be settled in for a while, now you get uprooted and you have to go somewhere else and start a whole chapter back over. There we go again. Just another chapter in life.
In Choctaw, Oklahoma, Spencer Plato, OU Nightly.
The Choctaw Police Department says to be on the lookout for lost photos when picking up debris. Lost photos can be turned into the department to be given back to the rightful owner.
And the Oklahoma City Thunder hit the floor against the Spurs last night.
See if the boys in blue advanced in the NBA Cup. Hallie McPherson has more in sports.
And Jenny B and her 9th-ranked women's basketball team took a trip up to Wichita last night
See if they continue their undefeated campaign up next in sports.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman. Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
McPherson, and it's time for sports. With the football season winding down and the offensive coordinator search ramping up, OU fans also wonder who the Sooners signal caller will be, and while there is still a lot of uncertainty over the quarterback position next year, head coach Brent Venables and the team still have a lot of love for Jackson Arnold as he has been named a captain this week.
We love Jackson, and we believe in him, but it's a sign of he's one of our best leaders that we have on the team. And, there's plenty of guys going through rough spots that still have the ability to lead and fight and compete.
OU men's basketball is off to a clean 3-0 start. The Sooners face Texas A&M Commerce tomorrow night. With areas in need of improvement, head coach Porter Moser says he's looking for a good start from his squad.
And mainly being consistent defensively. I think we've had some tough starts, and then we settle in, and then all of a sudden, I thought Stetson had like 10 points in the first 4 minutes, and then all of a sudden they had 20-something at half. Like the next 13, they had 8. So we just got to be more consistent and not letting up, relentless defensively.
And OU women's basketball traveled to Kansas last night and took the W out of Wichita. Peyton Verhulst led the team with 16 points and Reagan Beers with a double-double. The Sooners defeated the Shockers 79-49, making this the first time in program history that OU women's basketball has won 4 straight games by at least 30 points. Next up, the Sooners hit the road on Friday to Las Vegas. Good news for Thunder fans. Isaiah Hartenstein has been upgraded to questionable for tonight's game against Portland. Hartenstein could fill in some big shoes with Chet Holmgren out, giving the Thunder lineup some size. Now for the bad news, Thunder fans. Even with Victor Wembanyama out, the Spurs clinched a win on their home court last night. Shai Gilgeous had 32 points and J-Dub Williams added on 27 points. Zach Collins daggered a 3 with a minute left, closing out a 110-104 win. There is a lot of activity for the Sooners in the NBA. Austin Reeves had 17 points against the Jazz last night, helping the Lakers to a win. There's some Sooner magic in the Bay Area tonight as Trae Young and Buddy Hield go head-to-head. Hawks and Warriors tip-off is at 9. Kennedy, Chloe.
All right, well, thanks so much, Allie. Now, you won't eat this bird on Thanksgiving Day.
Find out how one elementary school helped this turkey escape from being on the dinner table this year when we return.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
We said we'd never break the 3-second rule. Never do that. And never become a minivan mom.
Hey, Chris.
As parents, we say never a lot, but never happens. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, know it can happen. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Anna Gamboa at the OU Nightly Update Desk. In a vote this afternoon, Republicans on the House Ethics Committee decided not to release a finalized report from the investigation into alleged misconduct by former Representative Matt Gaetz, who's up to be President-elect Donald Trump's Attorney General. It comes after Democrats and the Senate GOP call for the findings to be publicly released ahead of Representative Gaetz' confirmation hearing. The committee is set to meet again in December. Chloe, Kennedy.
Well, thank you, Cariana. Now, we're almost a week out from Thanksgiving, but this staple won't be a part of dinner this year. Ted the Turkey was saved from the feast by elementary students from a Baltimore high school.
The young students rallied chanting "Save Ted" and even pleaded their case to the city's mayor. With turkey facts-filled speeches and a school-wide petition, Ted the Turkey will see another year.
Well, it sure is turkey time. It's turkey season, and thankfully it's feeling like it outside. A little bit cooler.
I mean, it feels like turkey time outside. That's what I was saying. Like, I walked out this morning, I was like, it feels like turkey time's right around the corner. So temperatures over the next few days are going to sit in the upper 50s by Sunday. We're going to reach the 70s, so a little bit of a warm-up on the way into this weekend.
Perfect. Sounds great. Yeah. Thanks for the good weather, Carlin. And thank you so much for watching OU Nightly. I'm Chloe Arroyo.
And I'm Kennedy Patterson. Be sure to watch OU Nightly live here weekdays at 4:30. Good night.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets